Hi, this is Fred Tatasciore, the voice of Soldier 76, and you're listening to the Nerd Entertainment Hub podcast. Respect the chef.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Entertainment Hub podcast. I am your host, Ryan. Joining me, as always, is Josh. Hello, Josh.
Skrilly-dilly-doo, Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, the main thing we're going to talk about this episode is CyberPunk. The deep dive...
You mean cybergasm?
Yeah, really. The deep dive video came out last week, and... oh my god, I want this game so bad. Like, I was not on the hype train that hard for this game when it was first announced, when some first stuff was coming out. Having watched gameplay, having read about, you know, the character customization, the way you can play the game, the world, everything, I'm on board. I jumped on late to the hype train, but when it pulled up to that station, I just pushed those doors open. Let me in.
No, see, I didn't just push them down. I fucking made the rails for the hype train for me.
Really, you built it.
Snowpiercer, I built this train.
But that's later on. Got a couple quick stories to talk about. Just a few stories that I saw that kind of piqued my interest that we can talk about real quick. The first one I saw, this one was from Kotaku. The PlayStation 3 servers for Uncharted 2, 3, and The Last of Us will be disabled tomorrow. I didn't know that people were still playing these games multiplayer on the PS3. Like, just it caught me off guard when I saw that.
I mean, when you really think about it, though, just think about when the Xbox One came out. They didn't drop support for Xbox 360 for
a while.
A long time.
Yeah, so
really long time.
I mean, obviously, people are still using it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a news story that it was stopping. And they wouldn't have even bothered to announce it. They would have just turned it off if no one was using it.
Right.
Why even bother saying, hey, we're turning it off? So, I mean, I guess to all those, you know, I guess holdovers who were still like, I don't want to upgrade. I can play.
The PS3 was better.
I
don't want to go on. I don't want to.
I fear change, you know, all that stuff. I guess you can't play multiplayer for Uncharted 2 anymore. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm sorry. Maybe you just get PlayStation Now?
Yeah, there you go. Just get on your PS, or just get the Uncharted. I don't know if they have the multiplayer, actually.
I don't think so.
Nathan
I
Drake
think it's
collection.
only, I'm pretty sure it's only the single-player campaign.
Well, The Last of Us Remastered, I think, has the multiplayer still.
I think you are correct.
Yeah. And that was all done with the same engine, so
yeah,
gameplay is very similar. I mean, and those were all just tacked on multiplayer modes anyway. I don't understand why they got as popular as they did. They were just kind of tacked on because, I mean, even Tomb Raider had tacked on multiplayer.
It did?
Yeah.
For what?
Because you
were just kind of, you know, like, I'm Angelina Jolie. I'm a different version of the Tomb Raider, and now you got to find this treasure.
It was different. Well, no, it was the same exact shit as like the Uncharted ones. There were different game modes: deathmatch, team deathmatch, King of the Hill, stuff like that.
Interesting. I did not know this.
It was just using those run and gun third person mechanics.
I mean, that's okay. You know, whatever. Also, Ryan, too, a quick story adding to your collection. PAX West was over the weekend. And
yes, it was.
Some new Borderlands info came out about like more Borderlands Endgame. Borderlands 3 now has a fall/winter content calendar. They have what's called for Halloween is the Bloody Harvest event. It is a free content update is coming to that. Updates, obviously, we don't know what content that would be. It says spooky activities. So there might be some
skins, some like, you know, the main hub city might be a little extra spooky.
Yeah, like you know what they did for Destiny stuff. And it says unique event rewards. So I'm like, okay, interesting. Next you have the Maliwan Takeover. That one is another free. You get more free content updates, an all new map, challenges from new enemies, take down an all new boss, earn powerful rewards, and then DLC number 1, which includes a season pass, new campaign add-on, and details and advanced. Ooh, fancy! All right. I'm probably gonna buy the season pass.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be surprised if you didn't.
Yeah.
I like that they
It
are
comes out in
doing.
2 weeks though. I'm so broke right now.
I like that they're doing some free add-on content on top of the paid DLC, because even people who don't want to shuffle out the money for the DLC, it feels like they're still getting some attention. They're still getting some, they're still getting something from the developer.
I feel like Gearbox, to me especially, are still one of the only AAA companies that still looks out for kind of like the little guy. And, they provide, again,
to an extent,
to
but
an
yeah,
extent.
especially compared to some other high-level developers.
Ubisoft, EA.
Yeah.
They actually give out free content. It's not just like, we suffered, millions and millions of backlashes. Now let's give you some free shit.
Here's a slight bit of free to hopefully you'll forget all the fucked up shit we did to you. Gearbox is just like, here, have some free content updates. If you don't want to pay for the DLC, cool. Have fun at Christmas time. Have fun at Halloween time. Get some themed stuff coming out that you can still play around with and enjoy.
Yeah, and obviously I will be heavily invested in Borderlands 3. I still haven't played the Borderlands 2 free DLC that they released back at PAX East. So
I mean, ultimately, I still have like my Krieg character that I beat the game with. I could probably just jump in and play it real quick.
Once you beat the story, if you beat the story, you can just add just play through it.
Yeah, and I did that as in my first playthrough. So
yeah, I mean, for me, I'm like, I can't get to the end game quick. I can't get to the end game quick enough. I can't.
Did you never beat it on the PS4 or the?
No, I never beat it on the PS4.
You was only on 360.
I beat it on 360.
And then
we beat it again on Xbox One, and then I'm like, I'll get it for the PS4 as well.
Well, then just fire up your Xbox One real quick and just play it in your completed Xbox One game.
It's free too. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
I'll have to get my Xbox One out of storage.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But
I'll just watch a Let's Play.
Oh, yeah, that works
do the boring thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as fun as being there, but it's as close as you could possibly get.
Close I can get without, touching it. Subverse, I just want to touch it, Ryan. I have some news for you as well.
What is your news?
My news is I just got my gaming PC.
Oh, that is, yeah.
Guess what I'm down with tonight? House party.
Of course you are.
I need something to hold me over, man.
Jesus.
I'm probably going to play for like 5 minutes, get really bored, and then just...
That's probably what you're going to do.
Yeah. I'll get bored, and then I'm going to start playing Overwatch on PC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. See what's going on at the PTR.
So the other story that we're going to talk about real quick before we move on to CyberPunk, this is just another one that I found interesting. So GTA San Andreas at this point is on fucking everything. You can get it on your PS4, you can get it on your Xbox, obviously PS2, PS3, PC. You can also play it on mobile, Android and iPhone or iPad.
What about my Windows phone, Ryan? I still have my Windows phone from 2012.
Do you really have a Windows phone?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say no. No, you can't. But why would you just get rid of your Windows phone?
Windows Phone was such a funny thing. I remember
really
Jeff
was.
having a Windows Phone for a little bit. I'm just like, why? Just why? Why would you get... I mean, first of all, it was stupid enough for Microsoft to invest in a Windows Phone. And then, because, they're like, we're going to compete with the iPhone because the iPhone's been around for such a long time. But,
just let's show up as late as we can to the party with no real understanding, no way to really pull it off, and just... It's the same,
OS was so buggy.
The same fucking thing happened when they tried to get into the MP3 player market with the Zune.
Oh, the Zune. The Zune. Oh, my God.
Microsoft has their niche. They know what to do. They know how to make it work. Don't try this shit. Don't try to get into other markets because it doesn't end up well. The last time they went into an extra market and it ended up going really well, we got the Xbox. And that was the last time.
That was the last time, really?
That was the last time they expanded into another market outside of PC and PC software.
You mean successfully?
If you didn't cut me off, it was the last time they branched into another market, and it worked out well for them.
I always cut people off, though.
You always cut people off.
I am sorry. I want to get my point in before I forget it, Ryan. I have a memory of a goldfish.
Yeah. So, like I was saying about GTA San Andreas, it's out on mobile, and a couple of people have cracked through some of the coding and the back end of the mobile ports. And they were able to find some new cheats and like developer tools and things like that in order to, break the game a little bit more. Because obviously it had, its cheats, R1, R1, R2. Oh, no, R1, R1, L1, R2, left down, right up was, some weapons. R1, R1, circle, R2, left, right was get rid of your wanted level. Actually, reduce it by 2 stars. God.
So anywho,
plugging in a keyboard into your device, or connecting it via Bluetooth and putting in the right keystrokes can get you some development tools like skipping the current mission you're on or marking it as completed. Giving CJ some items that are only exclusive to specific missions at specific times, and it was all done to test, so they didn't have to play through the whole game to test specific parts. But it's just really cool to see that. Even so much later, there's still new stuff to be found in this game. And even though it was a mobile port made after the game's initial release, I mean, the fact that this game can still be relevant says a lot to how big it was.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I have 2 points. Number 1, why the fuck would you attach a Bluetooth keyboard to your phone? Because it's so small. Just get a tablet if you're going to do that. I mean, I know, that's just me.
Well, I mean, it's more the fact that you want to be able to type while playing a game. Like, if I'm playing, RuneScape, I can't pull up my keyboard and try to enter in like console commands.
Can you, Ryan?
No, I can't.
Can you?
No, I can't.
Good.
So what's your second point?
Second. I'm sorry, I forgot my second
Fucking
point.
memory of a goldfish.
Yeah.
Anyway, so some fun development toolkits in San Andreas, the mobile. There's a whole YouTube video about it. That story was also on Kotaku, so, just find that news story on Kotaku, and there's like a 10-minute video about, finding all this stuff and some extra stuff, because it's more than just those two, but those are just the examples I saw in the Kotaku article. Anyway, main story of the day. Oh my God, CyberPunk 2077.
The CyberPunk gives me a cyber boner every time I think about it, Ryan.
It's just going to be such a fun game. I'm so ready for it, and just seeing the world and learning the lore, just seeing everything about that game. I'm just excited, and I want to play because I say this all the time whenever we bring up CyberPunk, but I want another RPG that I can just devote hours of my life to. I mean,
yeah. So, I mean, again, if you want something to carry over right now until April of next year, get Witcher 3, man.
I enjoy RPGs where I play as...
And it's high fantasy, and you get to see titties.
I enjoy an RPG where I get to play a set character. I much rather have the character customization where I can create kind of whoever I want and play it however I want. In The Witcher, I'm stuck as Geralt.
Yeah, but you still can play however the hell you want.
Yeah, but still, like, I mean... Look, I'll still play. At some point, I'll probably play The Witcher. I'll probably enjoy it. At some point,
you mean never?
I tried The Witcher.
Wait, what? Which one?
Witcher 3.
Oh, really?
I tried it on the PlayStation 4. I had no idea what the fuck the story was. I barely understood what was happening, and I gave up on it. I'll give it another try.
Give it another try. Do it. But like, read the lore.
I don't want to spend fucking half a day reading the lore so I can understand a game that I'm jumping into the third of.
You know how many hours of podcasts I had to listen to for The Witcher to understand what was going on?
That doesn't make it good.
But it was worth it.
I don't have the time. I'm lucky if I have like 5 hours a week to play video games.
But you can listen to it on YouTube while you work.
I shouldn't have to do this much research before I start a game in order to understand it.
But you're doing all this research for CyberPunk?
I'm not doing any research for CyberPunk. I'm watching 15-minute... There's a difference between watching a 15-minute video the day it drops so I can learn about the game that's coming out and doing like hours upon hours of research for a game that's been out for like 3-4 years now for a series that has existed for like 15. I don't need to spend that much time. I shouldn't have to.
Do you?
Well, fuck, you just refuted it. You refuted my argument. I'll go and just dive deep into the lore, become a bookworm, and I'll just read all the books and everything. So maybe in the next 6 months, I'll actually start the game with a full knowledge of what's happening.
I'm just kidding.
That last "do you" really just shattered my argument in twain. Just unbelievable.
So, regardless
CyberPunk.
Regardless of me pushing your buttons.
Egg.
So going back to CyberPunk, for those who don't know anything about the game,
where have you been?
Yeah, where have you been? First of all, second of all, it was a tabletop game originally made in the 1980s. So a lot of these things are heavily based out of sci-fi 80s. So like Tron, Blade Runner, Star Wars,
all that,
Star Trek, all that stuff. So a lot of things are heavily themed towards that time period for when it was written, and I'm kind of glad. Or sorry, I forgot to say Tron.
No, you said Tron. That was the first one.
I did say Tron. Okay, sorry. So yeah, this is heavily based on those. So if you expect something more of a modern sci-fi game, I would say you're gonna be disappointed.
It is. I mean, it's got the aesthetic of all of those, but like the tech in that game is incredibly sophisticated.
Oh yeah, no. So the basis what I'm going off of is don't expect it to be
iRobot,
or no. iRobot's actually kind of closer. I was gonna say more like Mass Effect, where it's like space.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah. Okay.
Don't expect it to be like super space orientated or
I see what you mean.
Kind of thing. Yeah. It's going to be very dark, gritty. You're on Earth. Of course, it's super advanced, but don't expect any kind of like alien races.
It's more Blade Runner than
It's very, very, very heavily influenced on Blade Runner. If you want to pick one franchise, I just wanted to clarify that for anyone who like is kind of ignorant or hasn't really wanted to dive into it. But I've always been a big fan of Blade Runner. I want to get down into the nitty gritty, see some cyber titties, and see more cyber titties.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'm appealed most by the game is just the openness that you have. Like it really feels like and obviously this is all perfectly curated stuff put out by the developer to show you exactly what they want you to see about this game. But if there's any, I trust CD Projekt Red to not try to pull the wool over my eyes.
Yeah, see,
I trust them when they put out this content and say, this is what the game's going to look like. I take them at their word. So the openness that they have, the fact that you really feel like you're in this living world of Night City and your choices have consequences and it's your character to play however you want, the way you created them there. I love it when games let you pick a detailed backstory.
Yes.
Like this.
I was gonna get into that.
Like the way Mass Effect did it, what was your childhood like? There was a significant event that influenced your military career. What was it?
Yeah, I think
what kind of soldier were you?
Yeah, sorry to kind of jump on the bandwagon of that. I think the Mass Effect background for military was like you could be a colony kid, or you could be a street kid from Earth, or you could be like just a hardcore military person living throughout space.
Yeah,
something like that. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think the 2 out of the 3 ones that I remember from CyberPunk is one of them you could be a street kid.
Mm-hmm.
Another one you could be an ex-corporate person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the third one was.
Here, I'll pull it up real quick. Let's pull up the video again.
Yeah. So regardless, I really like how, and this is good at not strongly, but I think this is going to affect the story more than Mass Effect did, because when you really think about it, the overarching story, like, it didn't really affect what you were doing except for some dialogue choices and maybe a 1 or 2 side missions. So I think this is going to more heavily incorporate your history throughout the entirety of the game.
So the third one is Nomad, and the quick blurb on that, because they show off the character creation a bit.
Yeah, they do.
The little blurb underneath it is roaming the Badlands, looting scrap yards, raiding fuel depots. Life on the road wasn't easy, but growing up in a nomad clan has its perks. Honesty, integrity, and a love of freedom. Qualities that few in Night City possess. No amount of money can buy. Oh, and no amount of money can buy. So yeah, that one's gonna be a little more like freewheeling, the wild card kind of thing, as opposed to
you don't know what I'm going to do.
So you have 3 different kind of archetypes that can affect, and those choices affect dialogue options you have.
And I'm hoping that it won't be just dialogue and side missions like it was in Mass Effect. I'm hoping that it will have more of a not super heavy, but moderately affecting the way you not only play through the game, dialogue choices, and ultimately how you make your choices as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that, they could only do so much, but I feel like also a lot of that has to ultimately fall on the player to essentially get into the character while they play. Like the last time I got so immersed in my own character's wants, needs, and feelings was, of all things, Fallout 4.
Really? Fallout 4?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I got super immersed into that character while I was playing. Like, I made him an alcoholic. So half of my inventory was just bottles of liquor that I found all throughout the Commonwealth that I just kind of, here's half a bottle of whiskey, take that. I would skip, if I had the chance to be like a really nice weapon or a bottle of alcohol and I only had room for one in my inventory, I'd take the alcohol because that's the way I was portraying the character in my mind. So, you say, you're a nomad or you're a street kid or you're ex-corp, and, that'll affect the way characters look at you, interact with you, affect the way you interact with other characters through these set dialogue options. But I also think that, and this is where half the fun comes from with RPGs, you have to determine, okay, how would my character actually act? How would my character really behave in this situation? And you could choose to go against that, but that is still on the player. And so I think with those background options, they let you kind of flesh out your character some more.
Yeah, and since this is based heavily off of a tabletop game, I think that not only will the hardcore people that want the game to come out, but a more casual player of like, wow, this is making me think intellectually how this character would work, not just how I would react to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it develops, again, I'm just going to relate back to Mass Effect. Shepard was a standard character, but you got to incorporate your own feelings, your own thoughts of what your version of Shepard would be. And I think that V is going to be kind of the same thing for you.
Yeah,
for everybody.
Like the perfect example in
I hope so.
The perfect example in Mass Effect is the genophage.
Yeah.
That's such a strong, nuanced entire plot line in that whole series. And I bet you if you took 50 different Mass Effect players and asked them, what are you, as a player of Mass Effect, as someone who knows the lore, what's your opinion on the genophage? How would you, perceive it? I would say you get maybe 25 to 30 independent answers. Because I'm sure some of them would just be like, I didn't care. I just chose one way or the other. Or like, I wanted to keep Rex, so I said the genophage was bad.
Yeah.
Or I wanted to keep Morden, so, I said, or, well, not Morden, because he ultimately wanted to stop the genophage. But you know what I meant.
Yeah,
But, I guess my point kind of got lost in my own overthinking, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, ultimately, kind of going back to the point where I was talking about earlier of, I hope that gamers and all of us will kind of be able to compare. And the one thing I do like about Cyberpunk 2 is the fluid class system. So you don't have to particular pick, do I want to be a tech? Do I want to be a soldier? Do I want to be a rogue? Do I want, a tank? The fluid class system allows you to take different perks of different, things. So you can create like a hybrid of your own, which I think is really cool. And I can't think of a game that has done that successfully.
Skyrim did it all right.
Skyrim did it okay. No, that's a good point.
Skyrim did it all right, and I think that was the last one I could think of that actually did it. Because a lot of other RPGs I've played since then, it's always been, choose your class. Here you go. Here are the skills with the biggest numbers. Focus on those. If you chose fighter? Oh, do you want to cast some magic? Too bad, you're not good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're just not going to be able to do it this whole game.
I want to wield the sword.
Make a magic character when next time you play.
Yeah, exactly. I want to wield a sword, but I can only use a knife, or I can only use a pistol, something like that. You're not restricted in any way that you want to. So
yeah.
I really like this class system, and the full character customization too.
Yeah,
I was very impressed with that.
I can make this character look however I want, I'm going to spend probably the first hour hour and a half of this game perfecting my character customization.
You gotta have the eyebrows and eyes spaced perfectly, Ryan.
Well,
you gotta mess with that face so much, Ryan. You're gonna mess it up so good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that you could make some real Monster Factory shit.
Oh, I'm going to.
A la the McElroy brothers. But here's what always happens when I do character creation. I start with a base character in my head that I want to build. And then I build that character and say, do I really want to play as this character? No, I'm going to start over. So then I get a different archetype in my head, and then I make that archetype, and I say, but do I really want to play that? No. And I go back
it's like
and I start over.
Any D&D character.
Yeah, exactly. So it all depends on what archetype I want to play as. And, ultimately I commit, because I have a few, established characters that I've taken through numerous games, and I'll just make them again. Like, one of my go-tos is a dwarf named Wigloff.
Oh, God.
And I've used him. No. I've used him in D&D.
Yeah, you have.
I made him in Fallout in a joke playthrough. I got a cane and wrapped it in barbed wire and called it the McDuck Special.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And so when I was playing Dragon's Dogma, I'm like, do I want to make Wigloff? Then I made Wigloff and said, no, I don't want to play as Wigloff, and I went back. It's like, oh, how about this Goliath, just this super tall guy? Do I want to play as him? No, I'll go back. So that's what I'm going to do in CyberPunk, but that's all going to be just based on appearance. I know what kind of character I'm going to play my first playthrough.
Well, what are you thinking right now? Are you thinking the two play types you saw in the deep dive were the strong solo and the Netrunner? Where I picture you just being the straight up strong solo character.
See, that was my thought for a while, but look, now I'm looking at the skill tree that they showed at the deep dive.
Yeah.
And so they got the five bases: reflexes, intelligence, body, technical, and cool. And at least just looking at these stats, I mean, I would probably go with something like a character who's probably good with handguns and shotguns, but also tries to talk their way out of things.
Interesting. You pick charismatic characters in D&D, but I don't picture you playing them in an actual video game RPG.
Having played bards for like 3 or 4 characters now, maybe like close to 5 now, in different instances of D&D, I've gained the appreciation of someone who tries to talk their way out first. And then if that doesn't work, maybe I can get out of it alive. We'll see. But, I want to have a backup plan. I want my wits and my charm to be first and foremost.
You're going to stack all of your cool stats in cool, aren't you?
But if it comes to it, I'll have a go-to shotgun for close range and a go-to pistol for long range. And they'll both just be sidearms, like a sawed-off shotgun and just a nice long range, like a revolver with like a massive barrel that just has extra range and accuracy.
See, for me, I'm thinking that I'm going to be kind of a hybrid of the strong solo and Netrunner. I think I'll take a lot of abilities and probably hacking, because that can create a lot of like different distractions.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't create the distractions to sneak by people. I would create the distractions to kill a fuck ton of people.
Yeah, so like you make something go off, they all turn behind them to see what made that noise.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you go right up next to them with a big fuck off rifle and just blow their head off.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
and that's the thing. If this game is as open and, the choices affect the game as much as they say it does, the replayability of this is going to be fantastic. So I'll play through as my pluckish rogue character first, and then I'll go in as a big fuck off tank. I don't care about talking. Point me in the direction of the people who need to die, and I will make all of their blood leave all of their bodies.
See, for me, I think that the game, at least playing through Witcher 3, you have some replayability. I think they've done a really good job of marketing the game, where like, oh, you're going to be able to play it so many times. Oh my God, yeah. But I think that probably people will I would say replay it a maximum of like 3 or 4 times, because you have your kind of go-to way of playing a game, and then you have like 1 or 2 experimentations, and then you get tired of it. But I think that at least playing through Witcher 3, there are some consequences that affect the story ultimately through different parts where, like, you know, you have arc number 1 and that could end A, B, or C way, or you have, you know, goes to arc number 2 that ends can maybe like 1 or 2 different ways. Ultimately, the end could be, you know, maybe 2 or 3 solid different endings. So
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so I think ultimately, especially nowadays where, you know, you kind of have set points to get to ends of games where a lot of other ones, I'm hoping that this game the end game will have more of an effect of the choices you make it towards the middle, like in the beginning and the middle of the games, where a lot of them don't really affect the end game a lot. It's kind of like, oh, you have these 3 set choices and you see what happens. And then like none of like the side quests that you've done affect the end game, which ultimately I'm not sure if it would or not, but it's good to see. Like, remember back to like what he did with, you know, maybe Dragon Age 1, or some choices you make at the beginning of the game could affect one character's end arc story.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that kind of they bring more of that RPG. Am I not making sense?
No, I see exactly what you... No, I totally get what you're saying. And to go back to the example we've been using this whole episode, let's talk about Mass Effect again. We just talked about the Genophage.
Yeah.
Did it matter a fucknut at all about the ending of the game?
No.
Absolutely not. The only difference was maybe you lost Morden.
Oh, I still cry. I still cry every time I see that scene.
You don't have a party member for the end game. That's all that changes. At the end of the day, you're still talking to this weird holographic ghost child, and you're picking red, blue, or green. And that's it. So I understand exactly what you're saying.
Or in some instances, you only get red or blue.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can just shoot the holographic kid and say, "Okay, you fucked up. Everything ends."
Yeah,
that was the bad ending, I guess.
Oh yeah, I think that was the ending. If you waited too long to make a decision,
or you shot the kid.
Oh yeah.
The real ending was dying to Marauder shields before you got there.
Yeah,
that was the true ending.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But I see what you're saying. Like, ending of arc 1 leads to A, B, or C. Ending of arc 2 leads to 1 or 2. Ending of arc 3 leads to alpha, beta, and gamma. And if you got A to alpha, that's one ending. If you got B, 2, and gamma, that's a different ending. But there was only 3 or 4 endings of these different combinations. So it still felt like on a single track.
Right.
It's just, did you pass a tree on the left side or the right side when you arrive at the station at the end of this track, meaning story?
No, right.
Similes.
Right. And I'm hoping that they keep they keep that kind of content in the story flow. I just gonna call it story flow chart.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
But there's been other games that have been made in the past where, it really doesn't matter. You just get 2 decisions at the end of it. Dragon Age 2. Of games that have happened in the past like that. And it's really disappointing when you spend all those hours making all these decisions and it just like, hey, guess what? Hawk is gone. What? Excuse me? This is canon now? Like, I can't, have my ultimate story? Yeah, kind of fuck off.
Anyway, going back to your last point about The Witcher and the narrative ending the way it did, and The Witcher was ultimately a set narrative about Geralt.
I mean, that is true, but
this isn't a story about yes, the story is about a singular character. This story is about V and your actions as V. But V is just a part of Night City. And based on how it looks, the story is more about Night City and all the forces working within it. It just happens to happen.
V is the catalyst through what you're viewing as Night City.
It just happens to focus on V.
Yeah.
So I feel like in that regard, and even if it is just 3 or 4 full playthroughs, that's more than most other games I've ever played. Most games, I play through once, and then I'm done, and then I jump back in and dick around a little bit more.
Yeah, same.
Like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Still being the story.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is absolutely one of my favorite games. It made it into my top 10. But I only played through it once.
It is a long campaign.
It is a long campaign, and you know what? I've looked up what happens when you have high or low honor, because I played through it first as high honor.
Right.
And I started a low honor playthrough, but I was like, fuck, do I really want to invest all this time back into it? Probably not. Just to see some different cutscenes?
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I was playing GTA 5, I only beat the story once out of all the times I played it.
Yeah, and with GTA 5, there's, 3 different endings for that?
Yeah.
And again, it all depends on how you go at the end. You can either kill Michael, kill Trevor, or neither, and kill the FBI guy.
Yeah.
Or FIB guy, rather. I love that. It was like it was like CAI. It was like CAI and FIB.
Yeah.
Fib. Real fucking clever rock star. They had a music shop called the Pink Oboe in GTA San Andreas.
Did they?
Now that's comedy. And then the other thing, I think this will be the last thing we talk about with Cyberpunk before we wrap, is Johnny Silverhand.
Yeah, I mean,
Keanu Reeves.
We still don't know what's going on between, Johnny Silverhand is obviously kind of the ghost that lives in the weird chip that is inside your brain that kind of gives you immortality. That's basically all we know so far.
Yeah, Johnny Silverhand is the last real mystery of this game. Like, I know he was important in the story of the original Cyberpunk tabletop RPG. I know he was a specific NPC in that, I believe. But just how he factors into this, I just want to learn more about him. I mean, also because of Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah, obviously it's the year of Keanu Reeves, and also too in the deep dive, they say like everyone in Night City, Johnny Silverhands has his own agenda. So
absolutely.
I think that if you remember, or actually you've never played it, but in one of the DLCs for Star Wars Old Republic, Darth Valkyrian comes back and he kind of like you quote unquote kill him. And in different parts of the DLC, his essence is kind of lives inside of you. So every kind of big choice you are given, do you take the good choice, or do you kind of give into Valkyrian's power of, he
going
gives
with the
you
dark side.
Yeah, he gives you like a big power up, and eventually if you keep on making all the dark side decisions, he takes over your body. So I'm curious to see if Johnny Silverhands is gonna kind of be like the devil on your shoulder.
That's a cool idea.
So yeah, I'm really curious to see, because you don't know what the fucking chip is.
Yeah, no, you don't know, and that'll be, not only are you playing through V's story, but part of V's story will be Johnny and how his influence affects you, what exactly he wants, his motives. Because he could say, oh, I'm just your buddy and I'm here to help you out. I won't buy that for a fucking minute.
No.
And in my first playthrough, I'm not going to ignore Johnny, but I'll probably be maybe a little antagonistic, and I'm not going to go with what he wants. Like, if I'm in a moral decision and Johnny says you should do this, I'm going to do the opposite, because I'm not letting him control me, because fuck that. I'm V, I'm me, I'm not Johnny Silverhands. You're not influencing me.
And also,
get out of my brain.
You know what I'm just thought of? What we talked about yesterday of the scene in Emperor's New Groove where Kronk has the devil and the angel kind of arguing.
Fucking Johnny Silverhand. Reason number 2, look what I can do. Just does the handstand just with one hand.
And the angel's like, no,
he's got a point. April 16th cannot come soon enough.
Nope.
Like, that is so far away, but it's still so very close, especially compared to that one piece of concept art we saw like 5 or 6 years ago of that one girl like on the ground.
Yeah,
and then there was like some like cyber cop or something standing next to her.
Yeah, in 2013 you had just the cinematic of like Cyberpunk 2077, and then no one heard back from it until was it 2017 where
something
more
like
content
that
came out, or of A3. It was either last year or 2 years ago. Where more information finally came out about it at the Microsoft press conference.
I think it was 2017 where they were first talking about it, and then slowly little bits trickled out.
Yeah.
And then last E3, they really went like, okay, you want some Cyberpunk? Here's some goddamn Cyberpunk. Get ready.
Sorry, it was last year. It was last year when we got our first kind of like
full look at it.
And then Keanu Reeves came out this year. He's like, hey, guess what? Release date.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. God, yeah, because for me, thinking E3 last year meant the one where Keanu Reeves came out. No, that was this year's.
That was only a few months ago.
It was only a few months ago. God damn it, I need it to be April. Yeah. I need this game.
Yeah.
There's nothing else really coming out that I'm this amped for.
Subverse.
You and your goddamn...
My sexy wife was Ryan.
You at least have to write a review of this thing.
I will not write a review. I will give a review.
Either way.
I don't write.
No, you don't. You talk. We both do.
Yes.
Max is the writer of the group.
Yeah,
we're
yes.
not. We're the talkers. And I think that's all the talking we're going to do for today. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If there's anything we didn't talk about that you wanted us to, let us know. If we talked about something but you want to add to the conversation, also let us know. Write a comment. Where there's just the void there. We're talking into it. Just a response.
We want to be
something.
away from the void.
Yeah, no.
We want to be... what's the opposite of a void? Fullness.
Yeah. I'll go with fullness, I guess. No, usually I have these words.
I know. I rely on you for this, Ryan.
Yeah, no.
This is why you're the host.
Non-void.
Okay, there you go.